welcome to the Youth Voice in Action series of podcasts. We are the NEET Team, young people, and today we'll be discussing our involvement and engagement with the NEET Team.
We will also talk about the benefits of joining the NEET Team and our experiences since leaving full-time education.
Hello, welcome to the Youth Voice in Action podcast series. This is part 3 of the NEET Team podcast. My name is Tiara and I will be your host with Jack and our 2 guests, Karen and Rachel.
I'm Tiara.
I'm Jack.
I'm Rachel.
I'm Karen.
Today I got some few questions for you both. So what is your job titles and roles, Karen?
So my job title is Deputy Team Lead for the NEET Team. So I support our manager or our team leader, Ryland, to manage the day-to-day work that the NEET Team do and all the lead workers and our outreach worker. And work with some of the other organisations to see what other we can. So my role is Deputy Team Lead of the NEET Team. So I work with Ryland, who's our team leader, to help manage the team day to day. So I quite closely with the team if they've got any problems or they've got any questions and need some advice and guidance. If I can't answer it, I can find somebody who can. We do some work with our funding providers, so that funds a lot of the activities that our guys do with you, and then I just make links with different organisations to see if there's anything else that can benefit the work that we're doing and help you all on your journey. So it's sort of a bit of everything.
What are you, Rachel?
I'm a post-16 lead worker with the NEET Team, been in the team for about a year. My role is to have a caseload supporting young people on their transition journey to college, employment or training, working through wellbeing issues, any barriers, and just helping them to their final destination of employment or education.
Karen, do you support young people by yourself?
I have in previous jobs. This one, not quite so much. I don't carry a little caseload. Because before I did this job, I was a curriculum officer, so I did a lot of organising courses and workshops and activities. So I would tend to rock up, pick you up, take you on activities, support you while you were on it. If you needed employment work, I'd help you with that. Now, my job's more about overseeing the team, so making sure that our guys are helping you with what you need to do. So I might jump in and do some wellbeing workshops, or I might do some employment work with you. But I don't have young people that I work with directly day to day.
Would you take over Rachel's job? Would you like to do that for a day?
Sometimes I've sort of jumped into the role, I don't know, I've sort of done something similar, so I could help it, but I couldn't do it anywhere near as.
Yeah, I have a caseload. So currently I've got 17 young people that I see either on a weekly basis or bi-weekly. So it's just getting them ready. Like I said, training courses, going to different providers, inspired training, Chlumai, doing online courses, first aid, things like that.
Do you love your job?
It's a rewarding job, yeah. How do you match young people to workers?
So they're not an individual case. So usually what comes in is a referral with all your information, and then we have to look at what barriers you're facing, and then what you actually want and need from our team. And then we have a look at that compared to who our lead workers are, where their skill sets are, what their personalities are like. And we use that information to sort of try and pair you up as best as possible. So we've got lead workers that if you need a little bit of nurturing, then we've got lead workers that will do that. If you want to, I want to get a job done, sorted, I've got lead workers that will be able to do that as well. So it just depends on you. But that's the sort of thing we look at the referrals. The more information on the referral, the easier it is for us to pair you up.
Does it matter about young people's background or?
Not what in terms of allocation. It might have impact, but there's some ways that could impact. So if you've worked with that lead worker before and it hasn't worked, then there's no point us doing that again. We'll just look at a different pairing for you. It could be that you've worked really well together, so this is a bit of a no-brainer. We'll put you in there. And then sometimes it could be that you're maybe from the same area or you've got connections, and then it's a decision. So we talk to to lead worker, whether it's an appropriate matchup or not. But other than that, really, we'll be there to support all young people who are in need. So regardless of your background, it wouldn't stop you coming into a team. It would just mean that there's other considerations that we would make.
I don't actually match anyone to work with me. Sometimes I get requests. If I go to, I support a lot of young people who are in supported accommodation. So the workers there are like, oh, can they work with you? So I just say, you can request it. And 99% of the time, if they request it, they get it.
What do you think makes a good lead worker?
Good lead worker, loads of things. So I think first of all, for you to get on with your lead worker, they need to make a good impression, don't they? So I think sometimes they've got to be kind and friendly so that you like them and you get on with them, so that you'll do that work with them and then you can trust them. They need to be able to nurture you a little bit, bring you on, build your confidence, see what you need and work to those skills. But I also think they need to be honest, and sometimes if there's a little bit of straight talking needs to be done, I think they need to be confident enough to do that as well. One of the things I like to see in a lead worker is that they can stand their ground and stand up for you as well. So if something is not right, or they need to challenge something with the colleges or the training providers, or justify why training that you want to do works for you, they need to have like your back and be able to stand up and argue that case for you, and you've got to have that trust in them as well. So, and also I suppose as well, they've got to have a really good understanding of all the provisions that are in and around Swansea, because for you to know that is really difficult, but that's why you've got a lead worker, so they can help you navigate that field.
I think just being able to connect with a young person is really important, because it's pointless me, for example, going to a young person's house who I've never met before and just being all high and mighty and not getting down to their level. So it's all about reaching them and interacting with them how they understand. So I don't go in using big words and business-like words that they're never going to understand. I go in and talk to them as a person, as a young person. And just building relationships, being straight and honest when you need to. Also trying to get the best for them. So I always say, look, I'll never force you to do anything, but if there's an opportunity I think you should take, I will encourage you. And it seems to work. Tiara can vouch for that.
What do you think is the biggest challenge for the young people seeking employment, education, and training, and how do you overcome these challenges?
I think what I see comes through on referrals a lot of the time, which is sort of the biggest barrier for people, is anxiety, mental health that links in, and then all the sort of things that leads to. So whether that means that someone's quite isolated as well, or hasn't got confidence. I think that's one of the biggest challenges that I see at the moment. Some young people will come in with support from mental health services. So that's sort of managed and we work alongside that. Other people won't have that support. So the support that we will offer, I suppose that makes it slightly different to other providers, is that our lead workers can come and meet you on your terms initially. So at the beginning, if you're quite anxious and you don't want to leave the house, these guys can come somewhere where you feel safe, where you feel comfortable, rather than make you come to an appointment with them. If your anxieties are around catching a bus, which means then that you're not applying for jobs in a bigger area, then it could be that these guys will do the stuff. We'll show you how to use the app. They'll sit on the bus with you, plan the routes, get you used to being on the bus. So there's those little things like that, but then there's also things like we've got somebody that sits on the mental health forum within Swansea. So any of the up and coming programs or projects or support that's out there, we've got a bit of a handle on straight away as well. I suppose the biggest issue is that a lot of these mental health services for young people come about through really short-term funding. So they don't last very long. So what somebody would be accessing Monday might not be available the next day. So it's really difficult. I wouldn't expect anyone to be able to work that out all the time or know where to turn to. So if our lead workers know what that is, then they can help you.
Rachel?
A lot of the barriers I've noticed with my young people is they haven't been in school for a number of years, and that was due to various different reasons. But then obviously as they're coming of age now, they want to go into college, they want to go into employment where they've got no GCSEs, no skills. So that's a massive barrier, trying to get them upskilled to where they can be accepted on a college course. It's liaising with the college admissions team and being like, look, what course can we get our young people on? Because they've got nothing, but they really want to attend education and attend college. Like Tiara. No, you came in no GCSEs, but we got you in college. Yeah.
Do you have any examples of how the NEET team has made a difference to young people's lives?
Oh, there are lots. I got 2 examples. One is a lad that we were working with a couple of years ago, and biggest transformation I've ever seen on a young person. From when he first started with us, the fact that he was quite isolated, didn't really have any links in the area, no plans of what to do, wanted to do something, but he didn't know what to do. Came on board with us, came to some of our wellbeing sessions, so we got to know other people. And what we picked up on was that he's quite good at helping people who put new or nervous young people with him to support them. So that worked really well. Then once he'd sort of built his confidence there, we had him in. He was interested in construction and security, so we could give him a little bit of a taster in all of those. And then an opportunity came along with Gower Activities for him for an assistant activity instructor for their summer programme, which he jumped onto and was amazing, which I knew was going to happen. Just seemed to hit all the right notes for him. And at the end, one of the outdoor activity centres from England, PGL, came down and did an interview without us really even know that was going to happen. And he just smashed the interview. Ended up with a job with them, headed over to England to do training, lives on sites the majority of the year because it's seasonal. And when he came back to see us, it was like a completely different person. Like the way he wore his clothes, the way his body language was, his confidence, the fact he could have conversation. I can't even explain to you how different, like physically and mentally he was. It's just amazing to see the difference. So this sounds really cheesy, but the fact that he did actually say to one of his lead workers, "You've changed my life," sounds really cheesy, but that's actually what he said, and that's how it's come across as well. But outside of that, we've done after COVID, we did wellbeing workshops where we realised that people just weren't jumping on any of our activities because they just didn't get a chance to build that relationship with the lead workers or with the other young people. So we set up these little workshops for them to come along. Just nice and easy. They had the full run of the building. Nobody else there. Easy to get there. And we just did fun stuff for the first 6 months. And they just, after not knowing each other at all at the beginning, it's this really nice friendship group that would be there to support each other when they went out. So individually, they probably wouldn't have done it. But because they had those friendships, we got them onto volunteering programs that they were, I don't think they would have come if they were on their own. So we've been too nervous. They did volunteering, they did courses, and their confidence levels were just far better so that then they could take those steps into college and work. So, yeah, it does make a difference.
Good job.
I got a young person currently. When I first started working with him, he didn't want to do anything, didn't want to go out, wasn't catching buses on his own. But through the work we've done, we've got him a paid work opportunity with the council. So he's been working there for about 10 weeks. Paid, 7 a.m. starts, doing cleansing around the local communities. He's actually got a job interview there for permanent staff on Tuesday. And he's now excited. He's like, this is me. I want to work. I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to progress in the council. So there are opportunities like that out there for every young person we work with, because we can link in with other providers and with a council to get paid work opportunities in certain roles.
And it wasn't an easy journey either for them, was it? If you hadn't had Rachel inside, potentially that employer might not have taken him on. Yeah, isn't it? Because there was lots of things. There's lots of learning.
Been very understanding because he's got ADHD and he struggles with it. And some days he doesn't go into work because of his anxiety or his ADHD is too much for him. They've been really flexible and understanding. So that's been really nice to see that they can accommodate a young person who's their first job and they've got additional needs.
Thank you, Karen and Rachel, for coming down. Yeah. And thank you to the NEET team for supporting young people like us. That's a big thanks, and thank you to the council